Here's a picture of an adult bed bug feeding on a human. They feed on blood and usually are most active at night, but they'll come out during the day if they're hungry. They don't actually bite because they can't. They poke a hole in the skin and suck blood through a straw-like mouth part. The host usually doesn't even feel anything because they secrete an anesthetic. They typically feed every 3 to 5 days, and it can go on for as long as 5 to 8 minutes. They also have an anticoagulant to make sure the blood won't clot, and they can feed almost until they are ready to burst. Not everyone reacts to a bite. Delayed reactions can be the hardest to pinpoint where the infestations lie and where the bites actually occurred. 1 in 3 don't react at all. This could be higher in the elderly, as referenced earlier, due to the effect of some of their medications. Now here's an example of how one woman reacted to being bitten. Bed bug bites, as you can see, are sometimes confused with mosquito bites. If people are allergic, they can develop large, painful areas which are hot to the touch. Okay, we're going to take a minute here and take a look at some of the questions that people have typed in.
Excellent. As a reminder, if you have any questions today, just click on that Q&A button in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to type your question in and then click on Ask. We do already have a question today. The first one is, do bed bugs smell?
There is a characteristic with bed bugs. Different folks have described it differently. I've heard it compared to the smell of coriander. I describe it as a sweet herbal type odor, and apparently some people don't smell it. What I usually tell people is, if you can smell the bed bugs, there are so many of them there, you don't need to rely on your nose. You're going to find them in just a few seconds, probably with your eyes.
Excellent. Another question we have is, how can I avoid picking up bed bugs when I travel?
That's a tough one. Really, you can go in, as Sarah said earlier, you can go, if you're staying in a hotel or at a guest's home, you may do an inspection of the sleeping quarters. It's not always just the beds. They can be in the cracks and crevices immediately around the beds. Very often, folks say, I went in and I checked the mattress at a hotel. Well, that's probably one of the least likely places they're going to be. First of all, the housekeeping folks have been trained to identify bed bugs, so they're on the lookout for them. And the bed bugs know that, with the frequency of sheets being changed and all the activity that happens with housekeeping and so forth, they probably have a safer bet behind the headboard, which in a hotel situation is usually affixed to the wall with a bracket. So if there are going to be bed bugs in a hotel room, most likely place is probably going to be behind a headboard. But just keep in mind they can be in cracks and crevices around baseboards, window frames, nightstands, virtually anything around the immediate area of the sleeping quarters.